very much. So without further ado, I would like to call on David Carroll for our first speaker. I think we've already pushed a lot of emails about the speech night, and I can't wait to...
Let's get it.
Let's get it. Do it. Let's do this. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I first gave a talk at Tech Solidarity, and that's where I met Rapi, and he asked me to come here. I've been giving this talk since after the election at the New School, where I am a professor of media design. And it originates from my background working in the industry, working for clients, then trying to be an entrepreneur with a tech startup, going deep into the beast, seeing how the sausage was made, and then being in a position to understand what had happened on November 9th. And everything else has since been trying to figure out how to tell that story, and watching every day more headlines tell me I'm not wrong, and that makes me sad, and what we can do about it. So that's what today's talk is about. It's the story in three parts. The titans of Silicon Valley, in a ruthless battle to capture multiple markets, put military-grade PSYOP weapons in the hands of anyone in the world looking to change behavior at scale. Since the dawn of the millennium, advertising that was conventionally understood as arrangements of images, text, and logos vying for our mass media attention and income became something else entirely. Tech platforms offer indispensable services like search and social media to sell access to our susceptibilities by collecting and combining as much of our behavior data as possible. Advertisers buy our attention on these platforms because they believe they can reduce their wasted ad spending. They have been sold the snake oil that WANAMAKER'S rule is actually a problem and that it is solvable. DoubleClick essentially invented the banner ad business and instituted the impression, measurement, and ensuing behavioral tracking model. It was acquired by Google in 2008. The parent company, Alphabet, now controls 10 of the top 20 ad tech domains on the web by UBIQUITY, and Facebook controls the others in terms of the top ones. Your DoubleClick cookie browser history was merged with your Google account in June 2016. Facebook combined your browsing history into your Facebook profile in 2014, but took 2 years to provide opt-out controls and quietly and confusingly come clean about it. Google and Facebook all but won this market in 2016, capturing the share of growth at an astonishing quarterly velocity. Now, they have 93% of US growth in the digital advertising business, according to eMarketer, and 60% of all digital spending so far in 2017. Just looking at the display ad market, the duopoly is now capturing $21 billion, leaving publishers with a 30% cut for actually creating the content, after deducting $11 billion of fraud and then $2 billion for the ad tech intermediaries, which in turn tend to cause an ad blocking penalty on publishers, the only ones who pay the cost for that. These companies made a huge leap in marketing surveillance and personalization capabilities in 2016 and earlier, but no one noticed. They certainly were not considering the downstream effects on civil society of further maximizing the strength and reach of their targeting tech available to anyone, while disrupting, monopolizing, and weakening legacy media markets along the way. People can be nudged for pennies in bulk with a few clicks, especially when they're not aware that 170 Facebook likes on average will expose their ethnicity, gender, sexuality, political party, religion, relationship status, whether their parents got divorced, and whether they smoke, drink, or use drugs. People expect to volunteer these attributes. They don't understand how these can be used against them as susceptibilities for finding propensities to perform desired behaviors, like buying things, sharing more personal information, contributing uncompensated labor, voting, not voting. What was once a domestic industry of US-based voter analytics firms has become internationalized since 2016. From my own legal investigations, I can tell you that Cambridge Analytica, the company behind Brexit, Trump, and Kenya, and many others, is an international company. US voter data appears to have been processed in the UK based on solid legal advice I'm receiving. This is not normal. Furthermore, the parent company, SCL, has no bid contracts with the State Department and presumably the NSA, but we can't be for sure. A military contractor is processing enriched US voter data. How can this be acceptable? Voter data must not be militarized. This is not normal. Despite the fact that Facebook has a political ad business unit premised on influencing voters as a business model, Mark Zuckerberg's initial denial of that fake news could have affected the election is now deeply troubling. Do we remember that counterfeit ads appeared next to his statement days after the election? Finally, it appears that Facebook managed to exempt itself from the FEC through Don't Stifle Innovation lobbying. Under immense pressure, the company is now proposing to distinguish political ads from the rest of its business. The investigations into foreign interference into our electoral process and deployment of information warfare weapons and foreign intelligence operations on our social media have demonstrated the dire need to revisit the FEC's role in regulating digital political ads equivalently to television, at least. But the real question remains, will Americans realize that Silicon Valley's capture of our privacy rights threatens our democracy at its core? Will we realize that the FTC will not protect us? Will the EU serve as the de facto privacy regulator for the global data economy? The same psychologist, data science researcher that helped incept us into a world of internationalized, militarized, psychographic voter modeling is also helping to usher in a dark new age of AI phrenology, whose computer vision and facial recognition algorithms are touted to predict sexuality and IQ. However, because this Silicon Valley libertarian mindset tends to discount the whole realm of social sciences, they fail to see how the assumptions upon which they build dystopian algorithms are naively phobic and bluntly oversimplify the human condition to make their data yield the conclusions of predictability. There is an overt and cynical attempt to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt about the role of government to regulate technology, especially AI. It's the classic, it's not my job. That education and civics are responsible for fixing the damage caused by the creations of data scientists and software engineers. But as Ian Bogo said, what about do no harm? Here you can see the training data. The scientist used himself and his girlfriend as models, and then Obama as black, even though he's biracial. Data leakage is the untaxed, unpriced, largely uninsured externality of the data economy. The market misalignments of data merchants and their epic failure of self-regulation are staggering here. What are the correctives? Can Equifax be sued out of existence with an army of bots? If you use this bot, you can get your small claims form for a maximum of $5,000. And if thousands of people did this in small claims court, the company would be gone. I'm very curious if Republicans will successfully sue Deeproot Analytics for its epic breach of their detailed voter dossiers. Will anyone fund research into whether or not Adtech's data leakage problem was exploited by the Kremlin through Yandex tracking cookie sync to help target voters for disinformation campaigns and active measures? What can we do? There's a video circulating from a BBC special called Secrets of Silicon Valley, where you can take a good look deep inside the Trump digital operation. Tools that were invented to test the most effective ski vacation ads and let the local band upload its fan list were used by the Trump campaign with the help of an international military contractor. It appears to be under federal investigation in the US and in the UK under various auspices, and separate from the campaign's own ads, which were hyper-targeted to decisive voters with voter-depressing messaging. In other words, people's attributes that are detectable without their knowledge were used to target people based on racial and ethnic and other divisive issues. This is just the dawn of a new dark age. Photoshop for reality is next. Adobe already demonstrated the ability to type in text and voice will synthesize it. And a very important Radiolab episode that you should listen to goes in deep to how computer scientists and engineers are not confronting what they're building. Are we ready to consider that the downstream effects of ad targeting and recommendation engines aren't well understood or under adequate human supervision? Wasn't for nonprofit news reporters poking into the belly of the beast that props up the house of cards that is the digital media ecosystem, the public wouldn't know what Silicon Valley algorithms are doing and the ideologies that are encoded into these softwares. Are we ready to admit that Adtech's dark and sludgy ecology of hidden third-party intermediaries data syncing and re-identifying us across devices and geolocations is infested with bots? Where did this dark world of bots attacking us on social media come from? It came from a dark market where impersonating humans was how you evaded fraud detection schemes. And billions of dollars were reinvested in this R&D dark market. I think we're beginning to see some early signs of AI's emergence when machines start passing the Turing test, passing as humans at scale with impact. Bots are being developed for the express purpose of being retweeted by the president. Whether intended or an observable side effect, Cambridge Analytica's psychometric voting models bear a disturbing correlation to identifying propensities for authoritarianism, as in this study on the Brexit referendum, where 78% were correctly classified based on personality types. People don't want to admit that propaganda works, or that bots matter, or that psychometrics aren't just snake oil. To admit it means confronting our own susceptibilities, horrific lack of privacy, and a hopeless dependency on tech platforms, ruining our democracies along various attack surfaces. What can we do about this? I think we should sue Cambridge Analytica, and we have to do that in London. So that's why I'm here tonight, to get support to mount a crowdfunding campaign to do so. I've already determined that every American and many people around the world can request their data from Cambridge Analytica, and when they request it, they will find it is not compliant to the Data Protection Act. Americans don't realize a British regulator is investigating a British company for British law and its involvement in our election. My hope is that the EU ends up the de facto privacy regulator for the global data economy. It will be akin to the California Air Resources Board, which governs the auto emission standards for the entire North American market. It is now undeniable that Google and Facebook are certain to become monopolies in their markets, and they will be regulated and taxed accordingly for their externalities, just like any other mature industry. Don't let Silicon Valley dazzle you into thinking it's still new. The commercial internet is coming on 20 years old. When pressed by Congress for a security threat, this is what they say they can do. Hire more people, only 250? Privatize election committees? Dystopia and utopia are distinctly literary terms of science fiction to frame possible futures as a practice of world building. What is the world we are building? And is this the one we want? It's up to us. I've heard VCs talk to me about a new wave of data sovereignty startups. At Parsons, I teach civics in every course. You can't have a separate course about tech ethics. It doesn't work that way, and that's why we're where we are. As Zuck says himself, we are in a new world. And as Marshall McLuhan said, World War III will be a guerrilla information war with no division between military and civilian participation. So as New Yorkers, it's time for us to step up and fix what California broke, what Russia broke, and maybe what Bob Mercer broke too. Thank you.